you're anti-trans.
Oh, is this what it is? Is it a Just Be Nice Bro video? I'm excited in that case. I love those. It's my favorite kind. Just give me a sec. All right, yeah. So this is how I went from transphobe to trans ally by squidtips. Let's see what's going on here.
Hi, I'm Alex. This is a video sharing my personal evolution on how I see queer people and queer culture. From being
Ooh, queer people already as a I hate when people use queer people as like a catch-all. Because first off, it's in the fucking it's in the acronym. And then second off, what does it even mean? What does queer mean? It seems to mean whatever the fuck someone wants it to. So like, why would I accept that label for myself, especially when it used to be a slur? And I didn't even used to be like gay. I took that on when I transitioned. So it feels inappropriate as well. Like, I don't know. I hate it. I don't think people should do it. I think it removes that kind of consent for people to decide whether they want to be called as what used to be a slur or not. And yeah, I don't like that.
Being confused and uncomfortable with gay and trans people to the type of person that puts queer
Virtue signaling.
pride symbols in their videos.
Queer pride symbols. Am I queer because I'm trans? Like, is this a queer pride? I mean, listen, I completely reject this fucking flag anyway. Like, fuck that shit. At least it's the original rainbow, but yeah. This is just virtue signaling.
Videos. This video was made with two audiences in mind. The first is for anyone who currently has negative feelings about queer people, but wants to understand better.
God, drink every time you hear queer. Queer doesn't even mean what queer people think it means anyway. Could you elaborate on that? Because I don't know much about it in general. I just feel like I don't want to be called it.
Better where those feelings might be coming from. The other audience is people looking to engage with the first audience. Maybe you want to create some mutual understanding with the ultimate goal of coming together and making a path forward. Or maybe you just want to understand those people better in order to protect yourself and
Well, I want to understand them better, but people are like, you know, you ask people questions and they like spaz out at you most of the time. So it's like, I don't know. How are you supposed to understand?
the people you care about. Two warnings. I'm going to briefly talk about a time that I was sexually assaulted and retell part of a trans person's story being assaulted. The other warning
Jeez, it's always about this kind of stuff. I don't know.
is that I'm going to use a few words that are considered slurs by today's standards once each, because I want to be completely clear about what words I'm talking about to an extremely broad audience. We're going to ease into it, but it's going to get super fucking real. So buckle up. Initiate dream sequence. As far back as kindergarten, I remember being attracted to girls and women, but I knew what being gay meant around elementary school because
I love it. It's just someone else telling their life story. How many videos out there are just an excuse for someone to fucking tell their life story? Like, just draw my life like everyone else fucking used to. I want to see what's going on in their thing. Vorsh is dangerously wrong about motorcycles. Noah Samson interview. Oh my God. Any Noah Samson fans here? Jesus fucking Christ. Got presumably ACAB content. Queer relationships. Don't know who that is. Don't know who that is. I don't know. These kind of videos were like a huge deal back in the day. Like, you know, those I used to be alt-right videos that people like Xanderhal and I think there was a guy called Faraday Speaks or something did the one that got really big. And then Xanderhal made a vague career off of being someone that used to be alt-right but isn't anymore. This feels like it's that kind of thing. I wonder if there's any like transphobic stuff. Let's talk protests, riots, defund the police. Now is the time. Okay, it was soy at that point. Capitol Hill, Chaz Chop, that shit was complete cringe. This should have killed off the fucking ACAB movement by itself. Anyway, let's keep going.
I was raised I
think venting to YouTube is cheaper than a therapist in America. Probably is, yeah. I'm never even like on YouTube, but even know how much of the Noah guy. Yeah, fucking Noah. I should watch him sometime, but I don't know if it would make good content. And like, the things I know about him is like drama videos rather than like trans stuff. And I don't want to jump too much into like drama because it's just not what I'm trying to do. You know, it's entertaining to me. And I watch a lot of drama stuff. I watch people like Chad Logic. I don't really watch like people who talk about the kind of stuff that I do. But like, I don't know, there's a certain level of self-indulgence because there is supposed to be a greater point to this whole thing, you know?
My grandparents, and they fucking loved Elton John.
When the heart of the star-crossed Voyager beats in time with yours.
True story, the first concert I ever went to was Elton John at like 8, and then 5 years later, the next one was Rob fucking Zombie.
Geopolitics, I don't know. Like, I don't know, I still watch Destiny occasionally, but a lot of political like people, most of them seem pretty stupid, first of all. I don't want to listen to a stupid person about politics. Like, that's completely antithetical to the point of anything. Did YouTube subscribe your comment? I have no idea. I'm so sorry. Israel Palestine. Yeah, I can completely imagine. Like, I know straight away without having seen any of Noah Sampson's Israel Palestine content where he stands on that whole thing. Like, Jesus Christ. I prefer not getting involved personally.
Get rewarded for using energy flexibly. Only with a smart meter.
At Pure Gym, get all the flex you
get,
need with no contracts, 24/7 access in most gyms. Top quality.
In the Vancouver, Washington, Portland, Oregon area. I had lots of black and brown friends, many of them
from Portland or similar. That makes a lot of sense. Listen, any soy shit you have in this video, I know the reason for it now. It's okay. Don't worry.
First generation or second generation immigrants from a million different places. But I can't say I met a single openly queer person until I got to high school. Maybe that had something to do with gay being a really common insult at the time. I don't know.
Good morning. Why are you gay?
Being raised by my grandparents.
Like, this is just giving me the wrong feeling just by how often he uses queer. I just hate the word queer. I'm sorry. Especially if you're straight. Like, why do you have to call us fucking queer? I just don't like it. Listen, I just don't like it. I don't want to be called fucking queer.
It's a trucker and a post office worker. I never have the newest clothes. Often I get secondhand stuff or extremely poorly fitted and out of fashion clothes. This is one of the reasons that when I started to experience real bullying, it came in the form of being called gay. The most memorable example of this was in 6th grade. I think it was like 11 or 12. I wore these white cotton athletic shorts with this extremely thin, literally like an inch or less, dark red trim at the bottom of the leg holes that had faded into this like violet color. I've gone by AJ throughout my life on and off because Alex was just a really common name in a lot of my schools. At some point, one of the kids bullying me decided that calling me gay was funnier than calling me fat. That name really pissed me off because a lot of people thought it was really funny, including my friends. My good friends. It wasn't until I moved 3,000 miles away to live with my mother and stepdad at 16 that I got the relief of no longer hearing it daily. This is what I consider my first phase of queer awareness. I knew that.
You know what's weird? I got like so much like shit for coming across gay. And somehow I haven't turned into whatever this is. I don't know. And I'm trans. I should be where this guy is now, if anything. Like, telling people to be nice to queer people. I don't know.
That gay people existed, but I thought they were a really rare thing. I wasn't gay, but I knew that acting or being perceived as gay would lead people to treat you poorly. Even though I didn't feel any personal animosity towards gay people, I still participated in homophobic teasing, like calling things gay as a replacement for bad, and feeling extreme insecurity at being perceived as gay. I moved to Alaska for my junior and senior year of high school.
Listen, people calling stuff gay is funny. I don't care. Someone says a bunch of shit and you're like, dude, that's gay. Like, that can be funny. Like, no one cares. It's not that deep, man. And besides, you're using the word queer constantly. That used to be a fucking slur. Like, chill. No matter what normal is, be the opposite. That's what queer is. Every taboo should be broken. Okay, so it is basically just a fashion movement then, pretty much. Because all I ever hear queer people talking about in reference to their own queerness, and I have at least one video to like evidence this, is like having tattoos and like piercings and funky hair. I don't know. A lot of these people look exactly the same to me. And it's like, is this subversive or is this just an evolution of like goth where it's like, now we like identify even more with our fashion thing and we're going to try and make it a hate crime to not believe things that we do and shit like that. It just feels like the next logical step from these like fashion movements.
High school. A lot of culture shock because I ended up going to the most affluent school in Anchorage at the time. It was also extremely white. I'm talking like maybe 10 to 20 black people in a school of 2,000. And although I think I knew of openly gay people at that point, I never actually met or talked to them until I started working at Best Buy after I left high school. The first openly gay person I interacted with consistently was a line level employee at Best Buy, just like me, let's call him John. John and I actually went to the same high school, and apparently he knew who I was.
Oh, hey, Cameron. Thank you so much. No. Thank you.
If you want that YouTube Premium.
Oh, I will one day. Yeah, thank you so much, though. I really appreciate it.
Even though we didn't have any classes together. That wasn't really weird because I did all the sports in high school. So it wasn't really uncommon to hear my name over the loudspeaker at events and assemblies. John liked to make comments about being attracted to me, always framed as a joke, but the type of joke that's clearly testing the waters. It started as relatively low-level stuff. Things like, those pants make your butt look good, which I felt mixed about. Even as a skilled athlete, I was pretty shy and had body image issues. So even though I was uncomfortable because I wasn't interested in John the way that he was interested in me, it still was a little confidence boosting. Over the 5 or so years we worked together, compliments at some point transformed into propositions. Like, hey, if you want, we can just go out to my car and I'll blow you. He would often talk like this in front of other employees who didn't act like it was a big deal. And so because I didn't want to appear weak or sensitive, I just made jokes to break the tension. You ever wonder how some people get so funny? Sometimes it's drama. One time I was standing in a group of people around the customer service desk near the front of the store. There was a bunch of employees just shooting the shit.
Is that trauma or is that just a guy being interested in you? Listen, welcome to what women have to deal with all the time. I don't know, man.
Including John, who was sitting in a chair right next to me. I don't recall what the hell we were talking about. But at some point, John took his hand and cup checked me. That is to say that he took his hand, pressed it against the crotch of my
Okay, that's basically sexual assault. Now we're getting a bit spicy.
pants, touching my dick, and then pulled it away, saying, smaller than I thought. Like I said, I played lots of sports. Shit like this between...
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a joke. But at the same time... It sounds like something someone would do as a joke, but for other reasons, you know. I don't know. Just keep your hands to yourself. It's so much easier. I don't touch other people. I don't have any problems. I don't really like people touching me either, but that's neither here nor there.
Friends fucking around wasn't unheard of, but me and my friends didn't do this, and the...
Oh, fair enough. I'm not too familiar with James Lindsay. To be honest, like, one of the reasons I'm so hesitant on, like, understanding queer is because I was kind of hoping there was more to it than what you've said, which, you know, seems to be the case. I'm not doubting you. But I don't know. It seems such a shallow and ridiculous thing. Smaller than I thought, how seductive. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a joke, but it's like grabbing a guy's dick for a joke. Like, maybe not, Chief, you know.
The way John did it upset me on a lot of levels. I was pissed because he already made me uncomfortable with his comments, and I assumed that if I just rolled with it, which I did for fucking years, he wouldn't keep escalating. I wasn't attracted to him, and he knew that because I made that incredibly clear. So him violating my trust changed the nature of our relationship for me. And to top it off, at the time, I had a major fear of showing my naked body to people because of penis size shame that's always been a part of masculinity. When he said my dick was small, even though it wasn't erect...
Is it always? I don't know about that. Maybe.
And I wasn't sexually excited in any way, it really dug into those insecurities. All of those feelings hit me like a punch to the face. And I looked at John and I said, if you ever do that to me again...
Oh, fair enough. Like, feel free to link me. If you're in the Discord, you can link it there as well. By the way, I have Discord. Check out the links in the description.
I'm gonna beat the fucking shit out of you. And then I walked away. Pretty much everybody who was there came up to me later and told me that they thought it was out of line, which made me feel better. And it eventually just became a thing between me and my friends that was like, remember when that weird thing happened? I never reported it to managers or anybody who could have done anything. I continued to work with him for years, and he never did that again. But he did continue to make sexual comments about me and to me until I moved back to the Vancouver area in 2009. That move is how I marked my second...
Yeah, rolling with it. It's so difficult because, I don't know, it's a lot in this country because people are very polite a lot of the time. People don't really like saying stuff. In the UK, we try and grin and bear everything we can, and it's difficult because most people, I don't know, if you give them an inch, they'll just take up that inch and then continue not giving you an inch, you know? So it's difficult.
Second phase of understanding queer culture. I finally got some personal experience.
It's just going to hit me wrong every time. Queer culture. What does me being trans have to do with queer culture? I have nothing to do with queer culture.
With queer people, but it fed into some of the stereotypes about gay men being predators. And I think because of personally living in a poorer, more diverse community, I didn't see John's actions as being intrinsic to being gay. I didn't connect this at the time, but this never stop spitting game until you fuck me attitude feels more connected to him being a man. Why are the jokes about lesbians moving in together too quickly and the jokes about gay men being promiscuous? Maybe there's some...
Might be a culture thing. Because, yeah, I don't know. I guess you wouldn't know whether someone's joking or not. But I don't know, maybe I'm thinking more generally because there's a lot of situations you can apply that kind of thing to, I guess. But yeah, I mean, listen, like one time I had a guy at like one of the gay bars I used to go to, he put his arm like round my hip and his hand was like on my hip. I was just immediately like, can you please not do that? and he thought I was being homophobic. It's like, I just don't want to be touched. It doesn't matter who you are. But yeah, that was fun. But he wasn't that bad about it, to be fair.
Something there connected to masculinity. I don't know.
Everything that women do to protect themselves from men are all things that gay men do to find other men. Be alone at night in a park and stare at him directly in the eye.
Hopefully it's easy to see how many different people.
The George not found thing. Yeah, that was mental. Like, he put his hand up her top a bit and they'd been like cuddling and like stuff like that. Like, that was mad. I don't know. Like, kind of makes me just, you know, whatever happens with this channel thing I'm doing, like, maybe I should just fucking lock myself in here and just make sure I don't go near anyone, because everyone's trying to get you somehow. Spread that he's homophobic for not letting him put his balls on your phone. Jesus Christ. Grim. I don't understand why. So I don't understand why some people want to do shit like that, just in general. Like just why? That's disgusting.
People could have been shaped in different ways from this experience. Even if they weren't the ones that were touched, I could see how stories like mine could lead witnesses to generalize the behavior onto other queer people. To be completely honest.
Listen. I have a lot of experiences that could make me the biggest anti-feminist fucking person in the fucking world, or the biggest feminist in the world. So, hi, Ink Searcher. This one is someone who used to be a transphobe who's now a trans ally, and he's telling us why, whilst saying the word queer a lot, which is nice. I love that word. Anyway, that's about it.
Honest, I still feel uncomfortable around gay men sometimes, but it usually fades the moment I start talking to them. I have no idea where John is today, but last I heard, he was wearing a lot of red.
See, I'm like that with everyone.
Hats around 2016. Not to make my own generalities about personality, but it feels like there's a connection there as far as thinking about how you're.
Oh, this is soy as fuck. Like, is that needed? Do you need to like put that reference in there? Is that necessary? Because obviously you don't really know much about him these days, so why even comment?
Actions make other people feel in regards to their body.
You know, I feel like this is a part of why I don't like putting my political opinion in too much of my content, because you just end up doing these like stupid little digs at people and stuff, and trying to make connections between like a certain group and a certain thing you don't like. I don't know, it just feels off to me. I don't like it.
Hey, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Whatever you want. Grab them by the pussy.
You see what I mean? Like, what's this for? Like, it's completely unnecessary. It's just to kind of signal your own beliefs to your audience, is what it feels like. I've had a song recently called Out Here on the Range. It's the only exception I'll make with the word queer, because that sounds funny. Fair enough. I'll have to look that up at some point. I don't want to get copywritten. I've already had music on here, so it probably will be. Many gay men are just whores. Kinda. Polygamous or cheaters, and unfortunately they're the ones that get the spotlight. I mean, it's guys fucking guys. That, you know, you get some guys that are extremely promiscuous. It kind of makes sense. And like, guys are way easier to get with. Virtue signal in every direction. Yeah, I agree. I don't like the virtue signal. I try not to do it myself. I don't think the fact that I voted for Labour is particularly important. You know, like, who cares? It's just a thing I can tell people so that they can potentially judge me for it. And I can be like, well, who did you vote for? And they'll tell me someone that I don't like very much. I'm like, okay, we're different people, I guess. Wow. I don't know. I don't want to exclude people based on politics as much as I can. And I don't really want to be excluded based on politics more than it's already fucking happened. Because if you're in trans circles and you're not communist, anarchist, or socialist, you're pretty much on your ass unless you can keep quiet a lot. So
2006 and 2011, I met a whole bunch of queer people. An extremely effeminate gay man who loved photography and guns, the more traditional butch lesbian stereotype, and a gay dude who had the same hitting on me sense of humor, but never crossed the line. In all my time working retail, I can recall seeing occasionally people who today I would assume are trans. Knowing what I know now about trans affirming care, I would assume that they weren't doing any formal therapy like HRT. They did not pass as women to most people. It was a spectacle when they came into the stores because employees would stop stocking CDs or printing labels or hitting on other coworkers and start gawking. I only remember noticing trans women. They would usually come in during the mornings when there was a lot less.
Try being a left-wing Zionist. I can imagine, yeah. And yeah, it's the same with the Israel-Palestine stuff, especially where I'm British. Like, putting those kind of divides up just seems ridiculous. Like, I don't know. I'd be friends with people on both sides, ultimately.
less people around, and that was not something I connected the dots between until I sat down to write this video. I was uncomfortable seeing them because often they had very masculine features. The ones that got the most attention were significantly larger than me. Not that I'm a big dude at 5'8", 170, but they were often over 6 foot, which made it really hard for them not to stick out. Was the term that I found on the internet and was used by adults that didn't seem like they were trying to be offensive in any way.
Wait, did he say transsexual?
Was the term.
He said transsexual.
170, but they were often over 6 foot, which made it really hard for them not to stick out.
Yeah, he did. That's not a slur, bro. That's a word people still use, because what's happened is trans now just means identifying as literally anything. So for those of us that, you know, transition between sexes to what we can do, we need a different word for it because our experiences are just completely different. Like being a binary, transsexual, whatever, is very different from being a non-binary, queer, whatever the fuck. Like, wow, that is cooked. You can say transsexual, Jesus. And this is what I hate. Like, we get words like queer thrown in there all the time, and then people that want to use a certain word, that gets fucking bleeped. Okay, great. Not that this whole thing has been colonized or anything by fucking queer people. Jesus.
Was the term that I found.
Listen, by my definition, yes, it is the accurate word, because to me it should be transsexual and then non-binary. And the non-binary stuff is the identifying as whatever you are. Transsexual is going between the sexes.
On the internet and was used by adults that didn't seem like they were trying to be offensive in any way. What that meant to me at the time was someone who did.
What about actual trans people that use it? You're not going to mention any of them? It almost seems like he's got some kind of like ideological reason to like push against that word, you know what I mean? And use his own words, which isn't this a straight guy? I'm confused.
Gender reassignment surgery and transition from being a man to a woman or vice versa, which honestly sounded horrifying to me. At the time, I put it in the same category as people who voluntarily amputated a limb because they didn't feel like it should be there. It's your body, whatever makes you happy, but it gives me this intrusive thought of chopping my own arm off, you know? The term I heard more commonly was
What he said about the intrusive thought, there's nothing wrong with that. I did that when I heard about like surgery and stuff. I couldn't help but imagine it being done to me, and it freaked me the fuck out. I don't think that made me transphobic. I just wasn't that I wasn't that well read on how it worked and stuff, and you know, I tend to get that from a lot of like gory kind of stuff. I think our friends are rather more transgenders and transsexual. Yeah, fair enough.
Sometimes to be dismissive, but often it was just because people didn't have the language or understanding to know what other words to use. Body, whatever makes you happy, but it gives me this intrusive thought of chopping my own arm off, you know? The term I heard more commonly was.
Yeah, he's acting as if that's problematic to think. It really isn't. That's fine. Don't worry about that kind of. People have those kind of urges. It's fine. It's normal.
Sometimes to be dismissive, but often it was just because people didn't have the language or understanding to know what other words to use. What has always been complicated about that word is that the first time me and all my friends heard it was in the automotive context because it's an extremely common shorthand for transmission. It's the computer nerd equivalent of changing terms like blacklist to blocklist. It's not a big deal in the grand scheme of things, but it's also asking.
I mean, it's not necessary though, and it's kind of annoying. And in like IT, surely a lot of there's a lot of attention to detail needed, especially for programming stuff. Like constantly changing stuff might be a bit annoying. I can see why.
People to change something that is deeply connected to a totally different context, and they aren't getting anything in return. I mean, sure, they get the satisfaction of being a kind and empathetic person, but the value of that is pretty subjective. I remember
listen, come on. Using like PC language or whatever, that doesn't make you a kind or good person. Like it's a bit more deep than that. I don't think you can just say that you're a good person because you did this. And I hate this notion even. I hate this fucking ally notion that you're such a good person because you respect trans people supposedly, and then that usually means just reaffirm all the batshit things they believe, and then when someone's not like that, you fucking hate on them just as much as they do. But I don't know, we have to get away from this notion. It's the same as the people that think that you're a good person because of your beliefs. It's not true. You're a good person because of your actions and your words and all of that kind of thing. If it was just your beliefs, then you could be a nonce who, because you support trans rights, that makes you a good person. I'm sorry, a nonce is not a good person. It doesn't matter what else they are. You know, that's just kind of how it is.
being uncomfortable seeing trans women because I associated them with some of the same negative feelings I had about gay men. In a lot of ways, the late 2000s normalized queer identities through pop culture. Even with this normalization, people were still commonly using homophobic slurs as insults. And older generations were way less influenced by the outside world to change their language.
Here's the thing. And he's white, so he's never going to understand this, but just stop caring about slurs. You know, listen, I'm not saying that to like racial things because I shouldn't really speak to them. I'm white. But things like tranny and stuff, like, who cares? I'd rather people did call me a tranny. Instead, they'd say all this weird shit that I'm not sure if they're making fun of me. I'm not sure if it's an in-joke that I just don't get. I'm not sure if it's an in-joke I just don't get, but it's got nothing to do with my gender or whatever. It's a lot harder to tell when someone's being, like, actually nasty a lot of the time. And then with trans people, it's super easy to tell because they're never not doing it to me for some reason. Not all trans people, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I don't know, like, oh, we don't use these words anymore. It's like you're giving these words so much power. Words which I feel give me power, because if I hear someone using it, I know that I shouldn't go near that person. Like, it's quite simple. This ally ideology, I think I understand it a bit, but I don't understand who is served by the idea that trans people do no wrong. Trans people, that's who's served by that. Well, we say that. The problem is, it's so obviously bullshit to enough people that it actually just kind of speeds up the sort of peak trans process, if you get me. So yeah, I don't know. They think they're helping trans people, but ultimately, trans people don't know what's good for them because most people don't know what's good for them. And so this is what they want. They want the stuff that protects their fifis. And so, hey, that's where we're at now. The N-word I do get. Yeah, of course, the history around it. Like, I try and be careful, but hey, listen. Like, I watched an Abbott and Preach video. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I don't know how much time we'll have. But, like, they talk about their own feelings on the N-word. And, like, they're like, pretty much they do want to do away with it. And these are black people, you know? I'm not going to sit here and, like, judge them for that. Like, they're black people. They can talk about that kind of shit a lot more than I can. But, yeah, like, a lot of this hate speech stuff, it's just bunk. And people think that they're, like, protecting us or something. It feels more like coddling. I'd rather just be called a tranny if someone doesn't like me because I'm trans. I don't want to have to... They literally fucking say it in this video. They get sick of the innuendo and they get sick of the trying to decode people's speech in case they're saying something that's racist or something. And it's like, it's annoying. Just let people say the fucking slurs.
And perspectives. I hope that there's nowhere in the United States today that would have people openly talking shit about...
When I say do away with slurs, I just mean do away with their slur status, I guess. Like, who cares? I don't really get where I'm from. I use the N-word with my non-Jew friends. Jesus, yeah. I mean, hey, listen, it's if it's a sense of humor thing, then fair enough. I don't know. I would never use, like, the N-word around, like, a black person, or really ever. But, like, I don't know. I think we give words way too much power. I think our beliefs on hate speech are pretty counterintuitive. And the thing about, like, hate speech is how do you get someone done for hate speech, especially if it's, like, street harassment or something? You have to be filming yourself at all times or, like, recording something where you think there's going to be hate speech so you can, like, follow up on it. And even then, like, how often do the police even do anything about it? It seems like the riots thing was a bit of a different issue and that, you know, it was connected to a much bigger thing. But for the most part, like, you know, what's even the point of these laws a lot of the time? Like, what's the point in this mentality? You're not going to stop people saying stuff. If they're stopped from saying it on fucking Facebook, they'll go to Twitter. If they can't say it on Twitter, they'll go to fucking gab.ai or whatever the fuck.
About a specific trans person that they are looking at in, like, a Best Buy. But it probably still happens. I am pretty confident that at some point I participated in dehumanizing insults about trans people as a way of trying to be cool or funny or just prevent people from calling.
Maybe, but who cares? Like, do we need... I don't know what he's going to say, but I worry that we kind of foster these, like, guilt complexes in other people. And I don't think it's necessary. Like, if this guy called someone a tranny 10 years ago, and then I watched his video and thought it was really good and then found out that fact afterwards, I'd be like, who cares, you know? But we have to, like, relitigate our own pasts to, like, atone for, like, what? Saying a few transphobic things? Believe it or not, most people have said a few transphobic things in their lives.
Calling me gay. I try to keep that in mind. And hold space for the possibility that someone saying or doing transphobic things today is doing it as a defense mechanism created by the culture they grew up in. But it's really hard to tell sometimes. I've noticed for many trans people, this is empathy level impossible. And I totally get it. I think people...
For a lot of trans people, it's empathy level impossible. Listen. For even people like me, it's impossible for a lot of these trans people to empathize. Not all of them. It's the TRE types I'm usually talking about, because that's who I get it from. I struggle to believe that almost any of these people have empathy. I think a lot of people use things like intersectionality as kind of a substitute for empathy, so that they kind of know who they should be nice to and who they shouldn't. And even if you're a trans person, if you're just like a white trans person who just kind of lives where they do and gets on with life, you don't really mean shit. Like, they don't care about you, and whether you've actually got struggles in your life that they don't know about is immaterial, because, you know, these people just want someone to judge and someone to look down on. That's how it feels. And things like intersectionality are a great way for people to feel like they're being good people, when actually they're reducing people to equations, often ignoring part of the actual person. And like, yeah, niggard does not mean anything like the N-word. I think it means like miserly, like someone who hoards money or doesn't like spending money or something. I think it means like miserly. But that's what that means. I found it a while ago because I was looking for like synonyms, because while I was writing something, I guess, I was like, don't know if I'll use that one, but it might scare people. But yeah, it's a different word. It doesn't mean anything.
People like me who are...
Listen, that's the stereotype. I'm not saying that I think that.
More aligned with the lived experience of these people are the best avatars for this. We're far enough away from the issue to avoid most of the...
Wait.
I've noticed for many trans people, this is empathy level impossible.
Because it feels like we're actually excusing some terrible behavior, potentially.
And I totally get it. I think people like me...
Nah, I think you should encourage empathy. And me, when someone's a bit transphobic, I'd rather work with them a little bit and just kind of explain it a bit from my perspective, because often people will move even just a little bit. Like, I don't think it's good to affirm these kind of attitudes.
Me, who are more aligned with the lived experience of these people, are the best avatars for this. We're far enough away from the issue to avoid most of the emotional damage that comes along with their behavior.
Oh, so they're saying like, oh, we allies, we gotta... Jesus, okay, it could be even worse.
And to be honest, they don't usually listen to queer people and women. Sad but true. Sad but fucking true.
You sound like a gay.
I lived retail in 2012 when I moved to Seattle, and that ended my third phase of queer awareness, which was this deepening understanding of queer culture and getting my first exposure to trans identity.
God, I bet this person was so much easier to listen to and wasn't saying the word queer every fucking sentence.
This is the phase where for the first time, I'm engaging with openly queer people, and I'm shifting my behavior away from homophobic slurs to words like...
Wait, shouldn't it be queerphobic if they're queer? Just saying, because, I don't know, queer doesn't mean gay. Instead of cursing people out, you just talk to them like human beings. Do you agree on what you think? Yeah, exactly. I don't know, I've spoke to several people that they've said stuff that's been like kind of transphobic. Like the last time it happened was like New Year's, like when me and my partner and one of my friends were out somewhere. And like, I was just kind of, you know, well, do you know about this, that, and the other? Like, this is kind of my experience. And like, you know, you can't expect everyone to feel the same way as you. And if someone does, screaming at them is never going to get them to change their mind. I don't think Shakespeare ever used the N-word. Yeah, jeez, I'm not aware that he did. Listen, I'm from Shakespeare's County, okay? I grew up there. I'm not aware of that either. Away from homophobic slurs, and he won't stop saying queer. Yeah. There's a slight lack of awareness. But hey, he's going to have been hearing from people who've told him that it's absolutely fine to call LGBT people queers, even though a bunch of us don't actually like it. And we just have to deal with it, I guess. We're queer now. Great.
That's right. We shifted from homophobic to ableist, because I guess that's the next lowest rung in the totem pole. Fast forward to 2017.
You know what? I am reclaiming the word retard, and I don't care.
All right. Let's talk about what I call my ascension. I started my YouTube channel, and shortly after that, the whole...
Really? Oh, God, guys, he's queer now. You see? He's got red hair. He's queer now. This actually feels a bit offensive. This is like appropriation. Like, this is as much confirmation as I've ever seen that this queer shit, it's about dyeing your hair and looking a certain way. And like you're using that word to talk about a whole like group of people, you know? You lean a lot more right than my family. They won't even talk politics to me. Lol. Older gays have trauma from the word. Yeah, I'm sure they do, yeah. I don't use it. I mean, I use it, but I'm talking about a particular subset of people who, you know, might dye their hair this color, for example.
Whole cop thing happened. In case you're new here, I was riding my motorcycle to work one day when an off-duty detective pulled a gun on me in the middle of the street. I was running a GoPro at the time, so I got the entire thing on film, fortunately, and that led me down this path of suing my local sheriff's department and winning over a 2-year period. So I'm making YouTube videos talking about this situation when a younger-looking dude, they seem to be somewhere in the ballpark of like 17 to 20, let's call him Billy, reached out to me on Twitter because they were doing criminal law and was interested in my situation and how I was handling it. At the time, I was extremely standoffish because I already had a whole bunch of heat on me from this incident going viral. Random people were messaging me on Twitter saying that they were going to call my job and make shit up about me or complain about shit I had said publicly, and there was people posting my address in like comment sections and shit.
Guys, consent.
It was fucking scary. I had like just hit over 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and I was not ready or aware of what parasocial relationships were. So I kind of humored Billy, but tried not to engage too much. Over the months, he would keep DMing me here and there, and although he was an awkward kid, he obviously liked me and my videos. Eventually, I got more comfortable, and it seemed clear that he was just trying to help me, so over time, I finally started to actually engage with him for real. And when I decided to start a Discord, he was the first person to join. One day, and I can't express how out of nowhere that this felt for me, they started wearing wigs and going by the name Brenda. It is very possible that I was so unaware of the trans experience that I totally missed every hint she dropped. She did talk about dating men prior, but I missed anything else, and I definitely wasn't looking for it. At this point, I had known her more than a year, and I didn't want to offend her, so I just rolled with it. I listened, I empathized, and used her new pronouns because obviously the old ones were extremely upsetting. Her family was religious and sent her to a Christian...
If your old pronouns are accepting... yeah, a little bit. I'm joking. If your old pronouns are so triggering, does no one feel the need to talk about or think about why they're so offended by them? To me, like, if I'm offended by something, I try and think about it. And I try and think about whether it's, like, rational or not. I don't know. But we encourage this kind of shit, like, too much. We, like, coddle people. Like, I think things like pronouns and things like that are fine, but it feels like it goes so much further now that even, like, the slightest thing, it's like, I don't know, are you helping this person or do you just think you are and you're probably getting your own kind of satisfaction out of it because you think you're a good person for it? I'm not sure.
Conversion camp where they subjected her to various forms of what personally I would consider torture to try to ungay her. At one point, Brenda talked about a group project she was doing.
By the way, listen, that's potentially conversion therapy, assuming what he's saying is true. This is obviously a third-hand fucking account of it by now. But like, nowadays we call like counseling conversion therapy. And it's obvious why. It's because we want transition to be the only treatment for gender dysphoria. Because one thing I used to think, like when I was less like sort of leaning towards gender critical, was like gender critical people would always bring up, you know, oh, well, what about other treatments? They should do other treatments. And I would always be like, well, what kind of treatments are there? And I never really get much of an answer. And I'd be like, well, I don't know, like, you're not suggesting anything new. But the thing is, like, it's quite hard to prescribe anything. And at the same time, everything else gets so like discredited. So it's like, I don't know, it's a tough one. And I'm a lot more sympathetic to that worldview than I used to be.
Doing with some people, and one of the students wouldn't use her preferred name. And she ended up needing to go to the top levels of her school's administration to get it to stop. That same person called the cops on Brenda, basically saying that, and she ended up... At one point, Brenda talked about a group project she was doing with some people, and one of the students wouldn't use her preferred name. And she ended up...
I don't know. You can't force people to see you how you see yourself. It's not nice. People should call each other what they like, I guess. Be nice to people, blah, 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 blah. But you can't force people to. You're not entitled to the words from someone else's mouth.
Needing to go to the top levels of her school's administration to get it to stop. That same person called the cops on Brenda, basically saying that she was going to shoot up the school with this gun she carried in her car for protection. It seems like her parents stopped giving her the same level of support for college. And so she started...
Taking a gun in the car with you for protection. Jesus Christ. Aren't you more likely to get like hurt with a weapon you carry on you than actually use it on someone?
Escorting and doing other forms of sex work. There was a particularly scary...
Listen, I might have literally just made that up.
...story she told me where a man turned violent, grabbing her throat to the point where she thought she was going to pass out and...
Wait, it's like showing other like random videos at the same time. It's really hard to like to follow. I don't know. It's a bit strange.
He only stopped when she pulled her gun out on him. Eventually, she transitioned to camming, which had the benefits of being safer and being a more flexible schedule, but had the downside of the all-male clientele fetishizing her penis, and she fucking hated that. Let me slow down here for the primary audience, because her penis might sound strange to you. It definitely would have been to me for most of my life.
Well, yeah, because that person's still a male, and you can still use, like, female... You can still use, like, female pronouns and stuff and say her penis, I guess. But again, it's a mileage may vary thing. And not everyone sees you as how you see yourself. It's like, I don't know. Some people don't really make that distinction between gender and sex. And if they're doing that, then maybe the difference isn't very well explained by most gender people. And hey, I don't know. I'm not with those people, so it's not really my problem, because I don't care if I get misgendered.
To me, Brenda felt like society would never treat her like a woman as long as she had her penis. She talked about it like it was a cancerous tumor hanging between her legs that was slow.
Which is not even true. Like, no one needs to know you have a dick, you know? You can dress a certain way where it's just, you know, it's baggy around there. That's what I did for ages. People didn't just assume I had a penis unless they were like having a go at me and like trying to get a rise out of me, you know what I mean? I don't know, this is weird.
Slowly killing her. Some trans women love their penis and aren't as concerned about fitting into the man penis, woman vagina.
Some trans women love their yeah, they do. They can't stop fucking talking about their penises, some of them. And am I supposed to think they're a woman? I'm sorry. Listen, if you have a penis and you never talk about it, I don't even know you have one. And it wouldn't give me a reason to think of you as male. If you talk about your dick and your girl dick and how you love having a penis and your girl dick and all that kind of shit, my gog. Like, yeah, I'm associating you with malehood because that's the main thing that malehood is your fucking penis. Did I get surgery? Yes, I did. I had surgery. Maybe it made it uncomfortable to look at. Maybe, yeah. There is that, I guess. But it's a weird way to put it, and we always put it in those kind of terms when obviously it's not like a cancerous growth. Obviously it's not literally killing her. Distressing, maybe, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Like when I had my surgery, it made me more confident. You know, like just kind of going around out and about, I could wear leggings without like having something covering like my crotch area because there was no bulge there. There isn't, you know. So yeah, I get that, but I don't know, the way we're talking about it, it's always like this. It's always like, what was that Amethysta video that I uploaded today where it's like, I was just a man waiting to die and the dying man allowed me to become a woman. And it's like, oh my God. I don't know. It's so hard to take this kind of stuff seriously. And I understand so much better than I used to, like more transphobic perspectives. That doesn't mean I agree with them, but I don't think we need to like make things up, and I don't think we need to dye our fucking hair red just to talk about a trans person. You know, that feels strange to me.
Vagina box. You know, I apologize if I'm.
There's a difference between saying her penis and calling it a girl dick. Of course, yeah. I just mean trans women that talk about their penis. I instantly am gonna link them with like malehood. I'm instantly gonna see manhood from that because it's their penis. You know what I mean?
I'm offending anyone for the sake of simplicity. And please correct me in the comments or come scream at me in Discord if you want. Eventually, though, she found out she was still on her parents' insurance, even though they told her they had removed her. So she went to Miami and got bottom surgery there. In addition, paying the $50.
Isn't that fraudulent? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. If I was in that position, would I do that? Maybe.
Or 20 grand, whatever it ended up being, with insurance, she had to take 2 weeks off to recover in a hotel nearby before flying back. That was a requirement for the surgery because she still had to meet with doctors for aftercare. And that meant paying for a hotel as well. And she needed to find a friend who could stay with her for the entire 2 weeks. That's a big ask for a lot of people. Meeting Brenda and getting this arm's length view of the challenges of the trans experience was my ascension to who I am today.
Yeah, because the problem is you believe everything that someone tells you and you overcorrect. That's not a good thing either. That's the real issue.
Unintentionally and unknowingly made a trans friend. And that experience is why I have zero reservations that trans people deserve the same humanity that everyone else does.
I don't think most people are saying otherwise. Especially like even like gender criticals and shit. I don't think they're saying otherwise. Some of the fucking full-on TERF shit, like yeah, maybe, but I don't know.
Doesn't scale though. We don't have enough trans people to partner them up with everyone in the fucking world and get on the same page. So that led me to ask the question, what can I do about this? We're now finally at the part where I answer the question that initiated this video in the first place. Why is there a trans flag up in my videos? So I explained how I went from basically
it's a virtue signal, that's why.
Knowing nothing about queer culture to accepting and supporting queer people, but
Trans and queer is not the same thing. I am not a queer person. Jesus fucking Christ. I know you bleached your fucking hair, but like, come on.
Lots of YouTube people are allies and don't have flags up. With motorcycle content, the core viewer base is 95% men. That's the demographic that is far more likely to have a negative association with queer symbols, and so is far less likely to thumbs up a video.
I guess technically I'm a male, so I guess, yeah, I don't know. I hate these queer symbols, but for a very different reason, I think, than other people that hate on them do.
Subscribe, support someone with them, and far more likely to potentially try to harm me or my content. There's like a lot of negative pressures not to put them up. So why do I do it? I'm gonna explain and wrap this all up with one final
ascension into who I am today. It is pretty narcissistic, yeah. Like, Jesus. Hope you're okay, MacPop.
story. In June 2020, there were protests all around the country sparked by the killing of George Floyd. I was stoked for this because it finally felt like people were mad about the same shit I was mad about, and we
Listen, I just took that the wrong way. There's no way he actually meant he was stoked for, like, George Floyd dying.
By the killing of... Why do I do it? I'm gonna explain and wrap this all up with one final story. In June 2020, there were protests all around the country sparked by the killing of George Floyd. I was stoked for this because it finally felt like people were mad about the same shit I was mad about, and we were gonna fight back against these out-of-control cops and justice system to get some fucking accountability.
I guess. Well, hey, you got it. Chauvin got put away for life. Deserved it. Fair enough. Guy needs to shave his neck. Yeah.
Obviously, everyone's a hands up, including me. I'm very good at it. I got a lot. Oh, all right, we're rolling. That's obviously fucking. Oh, let's find the fucking cars. Holy shit! Oh.
This person's talking about sex work. He didn't like clients fetishizing her dick. Oof. Well, really? Hang on, it's doing a thing.
Find the fucking cars.
I'm getting a lot of ACAB dog whistles, and it's making me very, it's making me very nervous. I don't want to platform ACAB.
Holy shit! Oh, fuck me. Oh, rerolling. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like, the George Floyd killing is, like, unconscionable. Like, I don't know why people were sticking up for him, for Chauvin. Like, it shouldn't have happened. And, like, it was the most clear, like, case of police brutality against a black person, let alone one that, like, killed them. So, like, all these protests and shit was kind of inevitable. Like, you can't take those kind of chances when you're a policeman. If you've got those kind of biases against people, you've got to learn to be able to do your job and not take it out on people. But I don't know. Like, the people that were rioting and stuff, I think that's too far. I don't see what rioting does, you know.
Heroes! Every one of you, heroes!
Like, it kind of seems like a lot of the rioting stuff, it just pushes people to the riot. It kind of helped Donald Trump, you know what I mean?
Oh my god!
Yeah, did you see the Steven Crowder thing? Let me see if I can find it, because this kind of shit, I mean, I get that Steven Crowder is literally a grifter, and he probably doesn't believe anything he fucking says, but like... But I don't know if you saw the Steven Crowder thing. Listen, if you're sensitive about the whole George Floyd thing, like, you know...
Just like with Epstein, I am going to be a human experiment here because I don't buy it. It's time for me to go outside and live on concrete. Neon neck / shoulder. I'm getting a little bit of echo in my own sound here. Okay, we're going to lay down.
I was hoping I'd be part of this.
All right.
This is what happened to Don't Tread on Me.
What?
What?
80?
You okay?
Oh, you want me to face this way? Yep.
Now, hey, Steven, have somebody move your earpiece to the other ear because they'll be kneeling right where it's attached to your shirt.
Okay, move the earpiece to my other ear.
Yeah.
Well, the point is I can't have it on my stomach. So,
well, whatever you need to do. Go. Oh, okay,
right.
Gotcha.
Okay. Right. I really have to pee too, so.
Just scared of bisexuals. Jesus, doesn't surprise me. I remember the Ring doorbell footage. and like just hearing like his voice cracks and stuff because he was unhappy that his wife wanted to take the car or something. It was really strange.
Do you?
So let me know when you guys are ready to start.
All right, I'm ready to go when you are.
Yep.
He's got to pee. How do you think George Floyd felt?
Stop it.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, hold on a second there.
Like, Jesus Christ.
They didn't say they started the timer.
We're ready when you
ready?
are.
And 3, 2, 1.
Okay, all right. So
Timer down.
Neil.
Kneel on my neck here, shoulder.
Oh, pause the timer.
Oh my goodness.
It's okay.
There we go. All right, now I'll roll it back.
It's actually more uncomfortable for me because I have a bad shoulder. So my left shoulder right now is popped out of the socket, but
It's 5 seconds in and you don't like it.
Sounds like I'm normal, but it's less comfortable.
See, there's no way it could have happened. Steven Crowder just proved it. At the bottom, it says 16 seconds left.
For me to do a neck flex.
Well, and I'm also just throwing stuff in there because I'm trying to, you know.
And now we beat it by 2 seconds.
Happy New Year.
All right, Tokenawan, get off. Get off. Okay, good. There we go. We're done. All right.
Get him up. Help him up.
Nah, this proves concretely that the whole thing was bullshit, and it was just someone trying to. Okay, we need one more George Floyd meme. Hang on.
Hi, people. United at home. The world is going through difficult times, and America too, actually. So last night, I knew we were gonna do this, and I made a special record. So this record is in honor of George Floyd, and I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult. So, shout out to his family.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream.
There we go. That'll do. David Guetta, one of the best clips of all time. Anyway, we got distracted. I want to try and finish this quickly. Because like I said, my George Floyd take is pretty simple. In general, I support all this. Any of the people smashing shit up, all that Chaz shit, that was all fucking cringe and ridiculous, you know? Okay, that sounded like a parody, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. Like, I actually fucking love that video so much. I don't know.
I went to marches. I protested at City Hall. And when the cops just got up and left their precinct.
Wait, red and black flag, isn't that like anarcho-communism? Oh yeah, this is fully fucking ACAB. We've picked a side here. Listen, we've picked a side. Okay, sure, whatever.
Because they were so fucking scared of thousands of people chanting in the streets to put a goddamn leash on them after they tear gassed a peaceful assembly, even though not a single cop was killed in the nearly month-long.
I don't trust a single thing they're saying here, by the way. And this fucking Chaz thing, people fucking died in there. Abolish the police so that people can fucking die randomly, get shot down by your security, get fucking sexually assaulted, shit like that. Like, great. Listen, if you're ACAB, more power to you, great. I'm not into that shit at all. And it's yet another thing that seems to have completely swept through like trans fucking internet communities. And you're like not really welcome if you're not into that kind of thing. And that sucks because it's a very niche ideology. Most of these people would go running to the police if they had need to. So yeah, I don't know.
Long protests and occupation of the downtown area. I went down to the Capitol Hill occupied protest, aka the Chop.
Cringe.
AKA the Chaz, whenever I could. It was impossible to not notice that the people at the front of these marches directing things.
Wait, wasn't there a special area for like the white people to go? Did he have to go to the white people area?
things and just generally making shit happen were mostly black, brown, and queer people. Fuck, the entire 1,100-person Seattle Police Department couldn't do it. And yet, these were the soldiers on
This is like soy as fuck. Struck by a car. This happened in the chop zone, like, and we're gonna pretend that this is like a positive?
the front lines, getting hit with bicycles and tear gas and flashbangs and fucking cars, all while directing people with megaphones. I found them, the ones doing the work that makes change actually happen, to be inspiring. And I feel like those are my people. So I decided to do what a lot of restaurants and bars and coffee shops do in Seattle. I put up pride flags to try to get people that might look at me and think, God damn, that's an Aryan looking motherfucker. I bet he hates me for who I am. To give me
I think this guy might hate himself for who he is. Jesus. ACAB because cops are a necessary evil and a bastard didn't ask to be born. I can't get down with it. Even if, like, the annoying thing is, like, it doesn't mean what the slogan says. So straight away is a problem. And it's mostly just performative, like, white people that haven't really had any issues with the cops, or if they have, it's because of their own preconceptions. Maybe, I don't know.
Just a moment to explain myself. What I realized a year plus into having the flags up is that it's great at doing exactly what I wanted it to do. I've heard many times from people that I very much respect that they dismissed me before they saw those up, which I totally get. But
that's not a good thing. And it doesn't feel like people have gotten out of that yet.
Other thing that the flags do is provide a unique opportunity to intervene with people who have hangups with queer people. I see it happen. People watch my videos, they get entertained.
I have hang-ups with being called fucking queer people, but no one cares what I think.
They start to develop a relationship.
That's fair enough. Listen, we all have our opinions. I'm not here to like shit on anyone that I disagree with.
Relationship with me, and then a symbol that they've been trained to hate shows up in the background, and that creates some complex emotions.
Trained to hate. Listen, oh my god, I wish I could fucking explain to him what's made me not like these symbols very much, because like Jesus Christ.
Emotions that lead them to leave a comment. And when they do that, I can engage with them and potentially lead them down their own path to exploring queer culture. Even if I don't bring them up to my level, you know, that's probably...
Pedophile pride flag. Maybe. I hate this flag. I hate this flag. I don't understand how trans people come out, they're being themselves now, and then they cover themselves in this same fucking symbol that everyone else does, or the same fucking colors that everyone else does. You're not being yourself.
Not gonna happen anytime soon. Maybe they'll be at least a little less likely to leave a shitty comment on someone else's channel, or use different arguments, or just not comment.
No, I don't know. He's so obtuse, yeah. Jessie Gender once criticized someone for calling the police because they're biased against her community. Why would you call the police because you don't like someone's community? Or is she like blaming it on that when that's clearly not why they did it? These people can hate for England, but it only gets called hatred if it's hatred for something they care about and agree with. Yeah. Well, they put this extra step in there, which that they're hating on bad people already, which they can somehow just tell from looking at people or some shit, which I guess means that I'm fucked, because that seems to be what I get from most people, and I still don't understand why, but I mean, now I do, because I come out saying this kind of shit, but the problem was preceding this by a long time, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. Like, it feels like this guy has like found the good side of it, but not the bad side of it. And I wonder how he'd feel if he heard some of the experiences that someone like me has had, for example, or listened to like detransitioners a bit more.
At all, which feels like praxis to me. We can't have two dudes yell at each other on the internet for an hour and
praxis? What's praxis? This guy is like, he's dog whistling me that he's a bit kind of actual Jake or something. Hang on, I just want to check his channel again real quick. I mean, he went off against Vorsh. I guess that's something. Noah Sampson. Ugh. Community. Ex-cop. Yeah, there's definitely some. Is he wearing nail polish? Oh my god, he is. He's being queered. This is happening in real time. He's wearing nail polish in this video. Name me a male queer that doesn't wear nail polish.
Soon, maybe they'll be at least a little less likely to leave a shitty comment on someone else's.
And I'm sorry, I can't get past this. This feels like weird fucking... Do I mean appropriation? This kind of idea that, oh, queer is being weird. I know, I'll dye my hair red and be just like them. This isn't weird anymore. This is like mainstream.
channel, or use different arguments, or just not comment at all, which feels like praxis to me. We can't have two dudes yell at each other on the internet for an hour and expect to solve any of the problems.
Okay, so a crime was committed within the community and she took issue with the police being called before the community could make a judgment. Well, Jesus Christ, don't let people commit crimes in your fucking community then. What was the crime, do you know? Because I was about to say, like, there is definitely a fair amount of crimes that if someone was committing, like, in my midst, I would probably be like, I don't want to be around you anymore. Oh, so it's within Jessie Gender's community, or the transgender community, one or the other. I don't know. Like, I think Jessie Gender's probably one of those ACAB freaks, like the ones that literally just do it because it's popular in queer communities. I sick in my mouth a bit there. But listen, I'm going to be cynical because I don't like what Jessie Gender stands for. I don't like her content, and yeah.
Problems that matter to our daily lives. We have to be converting people, which means we need to be selling. And I'm an exceptionally good salesman, so...
We have to be converting people. Yeah, but... How are you converting people? I need to see this kind of shit now. Oh yeah, that would be good. Thank you, Cameron. Is the police and the legal system not how the community judges and punishes things? Yeah, so like trans people, because they're like ACAB, they want to do it themselves, and trans people can't be trusted with that shit, I don't think. Nor can anyone else. It's not just trans people, it's anyone else, but other people aren't trying to cut the police out of everything, you know?
Why wouldn't I do as much of that as possible? I made this video because I want you, yeah, literally you watching right now, I want you to be able to convert people, but you gotta...
Nah, the thing is, if you'd made this video 3 years prior, maybe at the start of 2020-ish, maybe I'd have been inspired, maybe I'm like, yeah, I should convert people to being nice to trans people. But then I realized what trans communities are actually like, and what so many people represented by these symbols that you put up like a virtue signal are actually like, and what these communities are actually like. And hey, a lot of this like ACAB stuff that you're kind of signaling towards, what a fair amount of those people seem to be like as well. Like, it's insane. And unfortunately, I don't know how to like explain to people without just kind of telling them my experiences, like getting kicked off of a Pride event for having a Twitter account that said spicy shit occasionally. You know, like all of my friends that I thought I was cool with for years, that it turned out that I was only one disagreement away from being ditched by most of them. Like people who just like fucking wait till I go on stage because they're in another band that's trans, and I said something once that indicated I wasn't completely 100% on board with non-binary, and they'll just fucking wait till I start singing and then walk out of the fucking room. Like, yeah, I'm not going to take that badly, you fucking retard, you know what I mean? And when these things keep happening, you end up getting a bad like notion of them, but no one gives a fuck about retaining anyone. They want to convert people, and they want those people to just stay as they are, and they don't care about retaining any of them that have questions, because if you have questions, it's a bad thing. And like this guy clearly isn't hearing the questions yet, or isn't starting to question anything for himself, and maybe he never will. I don't know. It's not like I'm probably like to talk to him, you know what I mean? I've got like what, 600 subscribers. The tolerant left is real tolerant, yeah, exactly. Listen, people that get convinced that an ideology is what makes you a good person, that's a huge problem in my opinion. It happens on both sides. I think it's worse on the left, I would say, because they try a bit harder to justify like hatred, whereas the right doesn't seem to do as much to try and justify it. But you shouldn't be justifying it ever, you know? I think there's certain exceptions, like, you know, murderers, pedophiles and shit like that, but in general, assuming that these are good citizens you're around, you shouldn't be doing that ever. And people should care more about each other's actions and the kind of things they say. And if they're constantly going off on people and being aggressive and telling people what hoops they need to jump through in order to be a good person, that to me means that you're not a good person, you know what I mean? The right will say you're retarded but won't attack you. Yeah, like, generally rightists are a bit more kind of upfront and just kind of say what they think. Whereas these kind of queer trans leftists or whatever, they're like a lot more slimy about it. But then you get some like TERF types that are like pretty disgusting human beings as well. So I don't know. But hey, listen, we're we're not a fucking turf channel here. Like I give people mixed messages, I get it, but like this isn't about being a turf.
To be able to take care of yourself first, because none of us, including me, can do this without you. I have recently.
By the way, turfs are welcome if they can listen to a different opinion. It's just that, you know, the extreme shit, the not 1 inch stuff, you're unlikely to be a huge fan of me, which is fair enough, because if you're a turf, you probably wouldn't want to listen to a trans person anyway. So hey.
Been having a harder time keeping things together in my life, so I've had to do more checking in with myself, noticing when I'm feeling burnout. That could lead me to make mistakes. I ride fast, I take chances, and unintentional unaliving yourself does happen. I think the best use of time for most of us is to focus on supporting the people around you, friends, family, coworkers. And
I mean, this is true. You can do that without mindless pandering. You can do that without dyeing your hair red. You can do that without doing lots of things. You don't need fucking flags on your wall. Like, I don't have a cishet male fucking flag on my wall because I tend to be friends with cishet males, you know what I mean?
The people living in your city. The challenging part about this is that sometimes they won't even ask for it and might not even seem to need it because humans can be very good at hiding problems. I'm gonna die someday, no matter what I do. And
trans people, though, I don't think we are. Fucking hell. I don't think it's not possible for a trans person to be a trans person and to not have the fucking GoFundMe and all the other shit up and running whenever there's the slightest problem. But hey, it's not all of us, to be fair.
And I've watched people die in hospitals.
But it's like this person seems like that's the kind of thing he's like pandering towards, you know?
Hospital beds. I don't know if that's for me. I think I'd rather die on my bike or in the streets. But before I do, I'd like to change the world. Because unless we make our art, and that's our...
Oh, Jesus Christ. What did I do to deserve this? Oh, a TERF. Oh, a TERF is a trans-exclusionary radical feminist. I don't know if you've heard of gender critical, but like TERF is like the... Well, I use it to mean the extreme wing of that, if you know what I mean. Because plenty of people aren't like... They think that sex is like immutable and so on. That doesn't make them like anti-trans or like bad people. They just have a difference of opinion. But some people are like aggressive about it and like nasty. Wait, so is this Neil or Sarah, the leftist cooks? One-on-one coaching? Coaching for what? Holy shit. Coaching is always a fucking red flag for me, I tell you. Like, there's no better way to, like, use people as a money generator. We've got all these things on here when he's not even... I don't even know if he is. I just feel weird about that. I just feel so weird about that. Like, Vorsh hates motorcycles, I should love them. I mean, privileged men. Like, privileged men when it comes to motorcycles? Isn't this just a difference of opinion? Along the way, it tackles many misconceptions about motorcycles, how truly terrible cars are for society, out of control cops, wow, amazing. Bad trans allies. I have a feeling... Oh, hey, Amory, it's been a while. I still won't sleep with you, though. I'm so sorry. Now you have to donate to me. There's links in the thing. You can come to my Discord and get triggered there as well. Stool sample freak show, fair enough. But yeah, that's AJ. Let's just get the rest of this. So this is the leftist cooks. Like I said, I don't know if it's Neil or Sarah, and you're not supposed to ask anymore, so I don't know.
Art as lives, our lives as art, into something collective and of utility and aggressively designed to change the world and make it better, then we run the risk, I'm afraid, of just making crap video essays. And you can tell me that that's all we're doing. You can say it in the comments below. I don't give a flying fuck. Video essay. Is something collective and of utility and aggressively designed to change the world and make it better, then we run the risk, I'm afraid, of just making crap video essays. And you can tell me that that's all we're doing. You can say it in the comments below. I don't give a flying fuck. But I hope you can at least see from this that we don't want to just make video essays. The idea is to prevent suicides, to prevent genocides. I actually want...
The idea is to prevent suicides, to prevent genocides. What genocide are you preventing? Like, what is this? We weren't talking about the other thing as much. What was it? Fucking Palestine. Yeah, Neil is they, them. Jesus, this is a midlife crisis and a half. What fucking happened? What happened? Jesus. Maybe there is a masculinity crisis. That's a joke, by the way. That's a joke. Genuine maggot. Oh, you're leaving already? I'm so sad. Like, why not stick around? Why not give me all of your money? I think you should do that, personally. They hadn't yet started doing unconscionable stuff to kids. Lol. Oh, you mean, yeah. Polyamory in the family. This looks extremely cringe, no offense. Sort of thought it'd be about cooking, like making food and stuff. I like cooking. I'm quite good at cooking, but I can't see anything about that. 726 paid members. Oh, they're not a leftist unless they pretend that they like hide how much money they make. It's a bit like fucking philosophy tube. Like, oh my god. Do I know who any of these people are? Should people exist? Wow, that sounds deep, man. Wow. Anyway, listen, I don't know anything about this channel. I just hate his hair, pretty much.
To save the world. Do you want to save the world?
This is childish. What the fuck? I bet this person was like fairly normal up until not that long ago. Like, I don't know anything about this person. I could be wrong. But to me, it comes across... They probably like regressed some at a certain point, and that explains all this going on, all the shit that they're saying.
Can we admit that to each other? Do you make video essays? The idea is to prevent suicides, to prevent genocides. I actually want to save the world. Do you want to save the world? Can we admit that to each other?
Does this person like watch Philosophy Tube or something?
Do you want to save the world?
Oh my god, it's not more annoying when you say it over and over. Fuck me.
I want to save the world. Do you want to save the world?
Not in the way that you want me to. Like, I'm also not a child, yet somehow I feel like I'm younger than both of these people. Oh, and that's where it ends. Oh, the gaze into the camera, and then it's like...